all of Pod to be not bow locked, or if it's bow locked, have absolutely nothing going on in there. And then it's very possible that could be in anywhere in the downstairs part of G Tower, but because I don't think our ISO Armos, did the logic make you or force you to have bow in order to beat them, or are they just beat them?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, but sorry to cut you off here. We are going live here, and we immediately see a divergence. We have Glindol starting at the Sanctuary and picking up the mirror right away, while android4112 seems to be preferring to start in Link's house and checking out the uncle and what he has today.
I always like seeing that, the flipperless Houlihan.
Yep, that's a good start.
That's a standard for me.
Yeah, that's usually my opening. Sanctuary.
Oh, wow.
Hello.
A vanilla lamp.
Vanilla lamp, no more dark rooms in this
scene. There are 3 places that the lamp could be in the vanilla game, and that is place number 2, if you skip the chest of Link's house at the beginning. So, pretty much vanilla, we'll take it.
Yeah, pretty much vanilla, you're right. Looks like Android just picked up his mirror, and we got a quick map check from Glindol or Gus, who found out that both Eastern Palace and Desert are pendants, and Hera is a crystal. I didn't quite catch if it was a numbered crystal, like an important number, but I do believe the green pendant is in the Dark World.
Well, the easiest way to find out is to go talk to Sahasrara. He'll tell you exactly where that green pendant is in this game.
Yeah, I like when runners get those hints. It costs a couple seconds, but you can definitely be sure, and it might not cost you more than a map check does.
Alright, well, Library has a heart container, and Lumberjack Cave has just a green rupee.
Green rupee, who wants
No, as far as we know, Egg Tower is not required, but you never know. I believe somebody here had a situation where Egg Tower was required, but not to get that item.
Oh boy. Let's not get into that.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
No, I'm sorry that I missed watching it. That would have been entertaining.
Oh yeah, I can definitely recommend watching the VOD if you care about a weird situation where AGA 1 was required for something that I've personally never seen before.
It's always on my mind if I can't. So I'm assuming like Hammer was in Fat Fairy Chest or something, right?
Well, the thing is, AGA 1 opened up for the way for me to bring the big bomb to the pyramid, and that had the flute, which opened up Meyer, which had the hammer, which opened up the rest of the scene finally.
Ugh, gross. Alright, well, we see a sword from the Bottle Vendor. That is definitely worth the 100. I would definitely spend $100 for a sword, no doubt. In the game. I don't know about real life.
I mean,
you could probably find some cheap ones at a flea market or something.
Only if it was a true Hattori Hanzo steal.
Oh yeah?
Sure, I'd spend $100 on that.
Cool. Well, that's unfortunate for Android. He was, you kind of take the gamble on if you're going to find bombs in Blind's basement or Bomb of the Well. So once he finds bombs, he's going to have to go back over there and drop down and check those spots again, as opposed to buying bombs beforehand. So
yeah, it's
you
a bit
spend some
unfortunate.
time to earn some time is pretty much how it works.
Yeah, that's very true. I personally try to buy bombs right away just so I don't have that feeling of, oh man, I left the chest here and the chest there, and you never know if there's an important item in there. But speaking of important items, it looks like Android picked up his blue mail and his first bottle here, and a cape, just as Gus is doing right now.
Some good stuff, though that cape makes me a little worried. Because as soon as you see Lamp and Cape, you're thinking, alright, just give me a Master Sword and I'll go do Aga Tower. Because that's all they need. Actually, they don't even need a Master Sword. They could go right now.
They could theoretically go right now. They even have the lamp already, so...
Oh, wow. Glove from Sick Kid.
Oh, that's a huge item, and it looks like Gus is skipping the sick kit for now, if I'm seeing this right.
That is going to hurt him later. Because I don't know when he's going to go back to check that, but Android leaving without checking those 2 bombable sections. Now, if I recall correctly, neither of them had anything important in it, so it's going to work out for him for now, but I'm surprised not even picking up bombs or anything, because, you know, can't check Mini Moldorm Cave without bombs, and that's usually a pretty important place to check.
Yeah, it looks like he's hoping to, find bombs somewhere because he doesn't even have the 50 rupees to buy any right now.
Oh, that is true. That is why I like the hula hand at the beginning. Because I will always leave you with rupees to go buy bombs.
Yeah, exactly. You can buy the bombs and you can pay off the bottle vendor right away, and so Kakariko is basically one go through and you're done.
Well, it also helps if you don't have the rupees. There's a few locations that are always that have like a good chance of dropping bombs. A few bushes on the way to Kakariko.
Oh, and Android is picking up some soggy boots here.
Nice. Dude, those are always nice to see. 6 minutes into the run, and you can run. Absolutely.
Yeah, that is very unusual for a V26 seed, I have to say. Alright, and as you said, Android has to skip out on the Mini Moldorm Cave because he still doesn't have any bombs. Well, Gus here gets a green rupee tree pull, probably one of the least exciting tree pulls he can get.
The nice thing to point out is with the whole trip to Zelda's cell and escape with the mirror, you can just mirror back, and he already has a lamp to go check the sewer. So there's a very good chance that despite missing the glove, he will still be able to... There's a good chance he can potentially clear all of Hyrule Castle in one go.
Yeah, he has all the required items at least.
It just depends on if he gets that small key.
I'm curious to see when Android will end up finding his first sword, because he couldn't pay the bottle vendor for the sword that he was selling.
And... Wow, actually, yeah, that's a good point. Well, there's some rupees. Hey, there's some rupees.
The money.
So he's 3 rupees short from getting both bombs and a sword. Let's see what he goes and buys first, because he knows he can get bombs, but he doesn't know what the bottle vendor has.
Yeah, and usually the bottle vendor isn't that great of a deal, so he might opt out of doing them, but we will see.
Now here is a place where you can always get bombs. He's about to pass the section of bushes south of Sacred Grove. And... oh, I guess he knows about it then.
Yeah, I believe there's 3 bushes here that have a 50-50 chance of giving you a bomb.
It's either 2 or 3. I think it's just those 2 diagonal ones.
Oh, okay. It might just be 2.
I wonder if he'll pick up the heart container as well in the library.
Well, yeah, since he has the boots now, it's not really a huge time loss to just go there
He's walking. He's doing a lot of walking. Oh, he remembered.
Yeah, he probably just isn't used to having boots this early.
Bonks right into the wall. I was curious about this route because I kind of figured he would go from Sanctuary so he could check Escape and then go back to Sanctuary and check... oh, he didn't... Well, no, he didn't. You don't need bombs. To check the Bonk Rocks as well, so... But it looks like his plan was to get some bombs down here, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it seems like it. Looks like since he found 3 of them, he's skipping out on the bombs for now. Oh, it looks like he hasn't even checked the back of the tavern yet, so that's another heart container for him.
Yeah, some very interesting options in Kakariko routing. And we also see on Gus's side finding the small key in the sewers, which will allow him to complete all of Escape. Let's hope that there's something of value hidden behind that wall.
Let's hope for the best. He's definitely good on bombs.
Yeah, hopefully, I don't recall, but hopefully Android picks up 3 more rupees so he can check the bottle vendor and get his sword. And there. Easy peasy. powder, bombs, map.
Alright. Not great.
It's a great safety item, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, not great, but having early powder is really good. For me personally, at least. Alright, and it looks like Android is now clearing up the rest of the bombable walls that he couldn't bomb earlier. As you said earlier, he's not gonna find anything too great, but at least it's off his mind and he doesn't have to remember like an hour in or something. And we see Gus is gonna be picking up his boots here in a second.
Remembering to use his mirror to despawn the blocks, so he can do it in one trip. It's very nice.
Yeah, an early mirror is really a good thing. I always enjoy getting an early mirror.
Problem is, we need him to find the flute soon, because I feel like he's not gonna think to go back to Kakariko until he has a reason to. Right now, he has no reason to go back to Kakariko, and he's never gonna get those gloves anytime soon, unless it just dawns on him suddenly.
Yeah, hopefully he goes back there, but I don't know. We will see. Maybe he'll find the mid somewhere and just luck out like that.
Yeah, we got time.
It also looks like Android, despite having the money, decided to skip the bottle vendor, so he's still swordless. Oh, hello. Gus picks up the red mail and the hammer from the mini Moldorm cave. Another thing that Android had to skip out because he didn't have any bombs earlier.
Well, now here's the real question. If he's able to find Moon Pearl, then he would have access to the Dark World, minus the gloves that he skipped. So, we'll see what happens next. Man, I thought this was going to be an Aga Tower seed. I was all excited.
Yeah, it sure looked like it in the beginning.
All the pieces are there. All the little breadcrumbs, they're right there. That's the term we use, right? Everyone's like,
so.
What do you mean breadcrumbs? I'm like, it's a thing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's not literal bread.
Alright, Gus skipping out on the fake flipper action. I don't blame him. You know, sometimes it's fun to not sequence break at all. I usually always sequence break, but we've seen runners get completely destroyed by sequence breaking, and then some runners like completely break the game by sequence breaking.
Oh yeah, and it seems like we're complete opposites because I usually never sequence break if I can help it. I'm of the opinion that every sequence breaker must be punished.
What if you can sequence break and skip Aga Tower entirely, though?
Well, that's very good for you, but you're not playing what the logic wants you to play. Alright, looks like Android is making his way up Death Mountain here. Probably gonna check out Hera, the only crystal in the Light World, if I remember correctly. Sadly, he's still swordless, so all he has to go through here are the bombs. Even has to bomb the crystal switches, so I hope his 15 bombs, now 14 bombs, will be enough for him to get through here. Finds a heart container in the basement down here. That's the first item in Hera. Not awful, but I'm sure he'd rather see a progression item. Meanwhile, on top, Gus is checking out Eastern Palace, which is a pendant dungeon, but as we all know, V26 likes to hide important stuff in pendant dungeons. Alright, looks like Android is rethinking his decision to go into Hera without any weapons other than bombs. Realizes that a bomb just freezes the beetles. What you need to do, I learned this from Willard by the way, is you need to grab those two pots, throw them at the two beetles, and then go back downstairs and come back upstairs, which respawns the pots so you can kill the third beetle. But I do hope he instead decides to check the bottle vendor sooner rather than later. Okay, so it looks like Android is on his way to pick up his first weapon and a hammer here from the mini Moldon cave. Well, Gus keeps progressing through EP. So far, he hasn't really found anything worthwhile yet. Grabbed a burrito from the big chest.
Alright, I'm back.
Come back.
What'd I miss? Anything exciting? Or just your basic run and gun?
Well,
stuff?
Android checked into Tower of Hera, the only lightwork crystal that we have, but without a weapon he only had bombs. And he bombed the beetles, which prompted me to say that I learned from you that you need to use the pots and then go back downstairs because it respawns the pots.
Mm-hmm. And bombs, they'll stun them, and then if without a sword you can't do anything to them. Pots are, like in that situation, pots are the only thing that really work.
Yeah,
I'm assuming he failed after it didn't work, right?
Yeah, he stunned them with the first bomb, and then he realized, okay, I have nothing to kill these guys with.
I've made a horrible mistake.
And bailed. Yeah, pretty much.
Are we seeing Gus go? Is he going straight for the? Oh, he's thinking about it. Oh, yeah. I thought he was gonna go for the Aga play. Oh man, I wanted to see that.
Yeah, he was definitely thinking about it, but I guess he decided against it. I mean, as you said earlier, if he remembers that he can... Well, how would he remember? But if he remembers that he missed the spot in Kakariko, he could get his gloves and realize that he might not have to kill Aga. And so far, it's looking pretty good on Gus's side. Oh, he turns around to check the Bonk Rocks. Can't really blame him for that, but he's not gonna find anything here. Lumberjacks only have a single rupee for us today. Sadly, it looks like Android is having some issues with this internet here, so I can't really tell what's going on his side. I'm sure he's trooping on though. Looks like we're getting a desert ledge check from Gus here. Sees that it's only a red rupee. Oh, he picked up the book. I missed that apparently. Where did he pick up the book? Must have been Eastern. So the problem here is with the book find, he's gonna go on quite the wild goose chase in other pendant dungeons here, namely Desert Palace, without realizing that the gloves that he's looking for are actually somewhere else. Might still pan out for him, who knows what progression items Desert Palace hides, but not the greatest thing for him.
Yeah, and the other unfortunate thing is if Landmole ends up holding an item, that glove might have been required to get said item. That could have been what the logic is telling him to do. So,
oh yeah, you're
the worst case scenario is he'd have to double dip, come back in.
We shall see. As far as I remember, he hasn't gotten any items out of Desert yet. Ooh, and the Moon Pearl. Alright, he's one step closer to Dark World access. Oh, he really just needs to remember those gloves. So that means unless the second item in here is in the big chest, he won't be able to get all the items because, as you say, Limolas must have an item. Was he not even checking the big chest? Oh, and he realizes that he doesn't have the glove when he tries to pick up the back entrance rocks here to Desert Palace. Gonna see what Agina is hiding for us today. And it's a bunch of love. Extra heart's always nice, especially early in the seed, but as I said earlier, Gus is looking for progression items, not nice convenience items. Alright, let's see where he's off to now. Looks like he might be going for a fake flipper, maybe? That's really the only thing I can think of why he would be down here. I think he's already checked the Ice Rock Cave, and he's definitely been in the Mini Moldorm Cave, so I'm assuming he's gonna go on fake flipper to Hobo. Oh, and there he goes. Might even come back here and take the portal to Zora. Ooh, and the bow on the Lake Hylia Island. That means, well, we already have the mirror, but mirror definitely required. Alright, weird sleeping man under the bridge. What do you have for us? More love. Looks like Gus is picking up all the hearts that he could possibly want. Oh, he's trying to go for the fake flipper back from Hobo. I think that's a little harder than a normal fake flipper setup, but he eventually gets it. So, I'm gonna assume he's gonna go take the warp to Zora here. And since he's got the Moon Pearl, he can even do the water walking glitch and check out the 2 waterfall fairy chests. He just really needs to be careful not to get stuck on the rocks when he gets out of the warp, so he doesn't get sniped by a Zora or something. Getting hit in this glitched fake flipper state is pretty devastating. Alright, the heart piece and a ball with a bee in it. Not a progression item, but maybe that second bottle will remind him of Sick Hit so he can go back and get his gloves. He's gonna go check out what's on the ledge of here and then pay his 500 bucks to Zora. Ledge only is an arrow upgrade, nothing you really want. Alright, Zora, life lessons or not? Pay 500 bucks, get 50 bucks back. That's not a good deal. And it seems that he really has forgotten about the Sick Hit because now he's definitely going for that Aga play. Go ahead and get another tree pull, or maybe not. He's going back to Uncle, even though I'm sure he's checked here already. Oh, he's grabbing some magic. Alright. Yep, and he's definitely going for that Aga play. Might not be wasted time, but with a fighter sword, and knowing, well, at least we know, that the gloves are readily available for him, it is kind of a not so great choice right now, but we'll see if it pays off for him. He'll at the very least be able to check out Pyramid and Palace of Darkness. Since he's got the hammer, he can also cross the bridge with the hammer pack, so he can get to a bunch of other places down there in the Dark World. Maybe he'll run into the myths, and then him forgetting the sick kid won't really matter all that much anymore. Oh, and a nice fairy grub. He was down to 2 hearts. That should make him feel a lot safer. I do believe he has... I don't remember what the first bottle had, but the second bottle had a B, so that's not gonna help him too much on refilling his hearts. He's definitely making good time on this tower ascent though. Grabbing the key from the blue archer. Look at those beautiful hammers. And the double kill with the hammer, very nice. Gets poked in the butt here, but no problem. Whoa! Barely makes it past that guard. Doesn't fall off though, thankfully. Alright, and off to the Aga 1 fight we go. He's gonna zap the princess, or the maiden, I guess. We cut down his beautiful blue curtains, and then we hope he doesn't give us all the blue balls in the world. Oh man, and the first non-guaranteed ball is already a blue ball. And the second blue ball. Come on, Aga, stop trolling. Alright, there we go, that's 2 hits. Now comes the lightning. Oh, and he got zapped there because I think his spin accidentally hit Aga himself. And gets rewarded with a 3rd blue ball. Stop zapping yourself, Gus. Alright, gets another hit in. Should be done soonish. And there he goes. So now he has Dark World access even without gloves. Let's see what the pyramid has for him. And it's a red boomerang, clearly the inferior boomerang of the two. Still decides to grab it. Red boomerang better than no boomerang. And we get a Dark World map check here, so the red pendant is an ice palace, and that's all I could see before we closed it again. Go straight for the hype cave. Let's hope it is as hype as its name suggests. Oh, and thank you to chat. Apparently, crystal number 5 was Skullwoods and 6 was Swamp Palace. So that lets us know that we definitely need the Fire Rod and the Flippers. And he grabs his first sword upgrade, not the hypest of hype caves, but a Master Sword is nothing to sneeze at. Alright, looks like with this Master Sword he's immediately gonna go and check the Bombos tablet. Let's see if the gods drop anything worthwhile on him today. Bombs from the sky. Not something you want to hear or see, really. Since he still hasn't got his glove, he's kind of stuck here. So I really do hope he remembers the sick kid sooner rather than later, or runs into the midst. He definitely needs a lift upgrade of some sort. He can check the little mirror spot here, south of the grove, and then he can check the stump kit too. So that's 2 more possible item locations where he can get some stuff. He also has enough money to get through Alec Baldwin's digging game, which might hold more. Alright, first spot check, just a piece of art. Alright, Alec Baldwin, 80 bucks to dig in your backyard. Let's see how many digs and what you have for us today. Oh, look at that! Flippers on the 6th dig. That's a pretty good price. I'd pay 80 bucks for that. So that means... well, that means Swamp still isn't open for him because he can't take that portal because he does not have the gloves. Oh, he's immediately gonna grab his bow from Lake Hylia Island. I like this play. Get this out of the way with. Have an item that you definitely need in every seed. Yeah, looks like he's heading straight to pot with that bow. Still no sign of remembering the sick kid. Does have the money to pay off the greedy little monkey, also known as Kiki. He wants 10 bucks up front and then another 100 once you get him to the entrance of Pod. If you somehow get hit on the way to Pod, he'll run away and you'll have to pay the 10 bucks again. If you really wanted to, you could sink unlimited amounts of rupees into Kiki. Alrighty, first chest in Pod. Usually Pod is very front-loaded with keys, thanks to the key logic and how you could soft lock yourself if the keys weren't all where they're supposed to be. So I'm not expecting super great things right away, but we will see. Interesting routing choice here. I don't think I've ever seen anyone grab a key from the left side and then immediately go right side and take the warps and go up through the bow required thing here with the mimics. I like it though. Alright, first item he finds in here is Quake. We don't really know if that's required for anything yet, but it's one of 3 medallions, so better than nothing. Oh, he tried to go for the bonk here to get back to the first chest down there, but gets trolled by the beetles a little bit, and he gets it. Decides to leave the front part alone for now and wants to check out the back first. I've heard people call this dungeon the mullet dungeon before, apparently because it's business in the front and party in the back. So let's see if it holds true here. Will he be able to party after he's done checking out the back? Red rupee, not worth it so far. And the big key. That means he can check out the dark maze and the big chest there. Since he also has the mirror, he's not gonna have any problems mirroring back from the big chest once he gets through the maze. And the compass. I think he has all the dungeon items now, so whatever is left can only be keys or actual items. And it's 10 arrows. Boo on that. Oh, look at that! He got the power gloves, or rather, the other progressive gloves. Now the question is, will he remember the sick kid for his Titan's mitts? Because so far it's looked like he doesn't remember the sick kid at all. And even though he's finally got the lift upgrade he's been looking for, he might end up being stuck at some point because you definitely need those mitts sometimes. Alright, so Gus is making his way back to Helmsar King. Shouldn't be much of a problem here for him. He has all the items he needs to get there. He has the lamp, so no dark runes. He's good on arrows now. He's still pretty okay on hearts. Don't you guys hate that wait for that wall? I hate waiting for that wall. Alright, all the turtles defeated. And off we go to the Helmosaur fight. Let's see how trolly he is today. Really the only way he can troll is by throwing a bunch of fireballs instead of wagging his tail. But it looks like he's being a pretty friendly Helmosaur King today. Alright, no problem at all for him. Gets hit by one single fireball at the end, costs him half a heart, no big deal. Gets Helmosaur King down in no time, and gets 20 rupees and his first crystal. Alright, let's see where he's headed off to next. Now that he finally has a lift upgrade, a bunch of stuff open up for him for sure. Alright, looks like he's on his way to Dark World, Kakariko, or Village of Outcasts now. Going the long way around, since he only has the Power Gloves and not the Titan Smiths yet. Oh, we're getting a pedestal check from Gus here. That's an interesting choice. I didn't think it really looked like a pedestal seat up until now, but I guess he just wants to make sure. And it's the fire rod! How did he know? Jeez! Alright guys, looks like we have a pedestal seat on our hands. Yeah, that really was a great decision to check that pedestal. I would have never thought of that, to be honest. It really didn't look like a pedestal seat to me at all. But apparently, what do I know? Alright, making his way through Village of Outcasts now. Gonna check out the chess game. Pay 30 bucks, get 50 bucks back, and an ice rod. So that means he basically knows, or he has one of the required rods and knows where the other one is. Decides to dive into Thieves' Town immediately. Not a bad choice. The first 4 chests are quick to check, and he can complete it with the hammer that he has. The first item that he gets out of the 4 that he can find in here is a red rupee. And the second item is an arrow upgrade, so that means there's 2 items left in here. This one pretty much has to be the big key, and it is. So off we go to the back of Thieves' Town. Oh, gets clipped there by the fire bar, that's kind of annoying. It's down to 3.5 hearts. Doesn't seem to mind though, just troopers on. He does have full magic and the cape if all goes wrong, so we'll see if he decides to go the easy way through the hellway here. And nope, Gus says, I'm a real man. I'm gonna walk through here without any capes. And as Dude just pointed out in chat, makes good use of his powder that he got very early on in the seed. Just powder and anti-fairy and you're good to go. I also quite enjoy these 2 corridors with those weird green crickets in them with the boots, because you can just dash through and don't have to worry about them hitting you for a bunch of hearts. I guess with the red mail it's not as much of a problem anymore, but these guys do a surprising amount of damage if you're here with green mail. Alright, let's see here. 2 more items left. A bomb upgrade, that means 1 more item left. He's probably gonna check the big chest now since he's got the hammer and there's really nothing stopping him from checking it. And it's the burrito, which means Blind has an item. Alright, off to the blind fight we go. 3 hits per head, 3 heads to kill him completely. He has almost full magic and the cape, as I mentioned earlier, so this shouldn't really be much of a big problem for him, hopefully. Gets the first 2 heads down. Now it's starting to look like a shooting gallery in here. Alright, blind down, no big deal, no cape used. Gets another red rupee for his troubles. Looks like all the bosses are hoarding 20 bucks today. Alright, so that's his second crystal done. Let's see where he's off to now. I'm still hoping that he will check the sick kid in time. Since he's kind of here already, he has the mirror, he just needs to switch to it, press the button, bring the bottle to the little kid in the bed. Okay, he mirrors here, but I think he's gonna go check the Batman since he has the hammer and the powder. He can't pick up the Smith yet, obviously, because he doesn't have the Titan Smith. Alright, Batman, what you got? More red rupees. So, we know where the fire rod is. We know where he could potentially get his Titan's mitts if he ever remembers to check the sick kid. What are we still looking for here? I think we're still looking for the flute. And we're still looking for Cane of Samaria. And probably a bunch of other stuff that I'm not remembering right now because I'm terrible. Oh, gets a nice fairy drop here. I bet he wishes he had the Barknad. Alright, it looks like Gus has decided, okay, Death Mountain is my next play. Gonna go rescue the old man, get his checkpoint up there and his respawn point, I guess. I do remember seeing Android checking out Death Mountain earlier, so I don't think there was anything too important up here, but we will see what Gus comes up with. Man, 20 bucks everywhere. 20 bucks on top of Spectacle Rock, 20 bucks in Spectacle Rock Cave. Alright, here comes the second tablet check. The first one was only a bunch of bombs from the sky. What does this one hold? Oh, it's a heart container at least. Could be worse. Could have been another red rupee. Alright, here we go. Gus diving into the only Light World Crystal Dungeon. Even though we do know it's a pedestal required seed, so he'll eventually have to do them all. Finds out that he can grab yet another heart in the basement here. Grabs the big key and goes upstairs. He won't be faced with the same problem that Android had earlier because he does have a sword, so he can kill all those beetles quite easily. Decides to hit the switch here so the hearts up top are accessible to him. I like that decision, I always do that. A little bit of extra security. Alright, there's the compass. We're gonna see a bomb jump over to the big chest, sure looks like it. And the second item is yet another red rupee. Jeez man, haven't you found all these yet? So that means Moldorm is not going to hold anything of importance, but at least he's going to get yet another crystal. Alright, Crystal get. No problem with the hammer strats on Trolldorm here, doesn't get knocked off or anything. Just 3 little hammer taps in the butt. And down he goes, exploding like a madman. Alright, and since he has the hammer, he decides to check out the east side of Death Mountain. I would say that's a pretty good play, even though I'm still very worried for him about that sick kid check. He definitely needs those Titansmiths, and I have a bad feeling that eventually he'll be quite stuck until he remembers that he never checked the sick kid. Spiral Cave with boots, always a joy. You get through here pretty quickly, thankfully. Just get some piece of art here. Not really what he wants. But he does have access to the 7 item chests here. Or the 7 item cave, I should say. Oh man, and as you guys are pointing out, and this dude has pointed out, since Ice Palace is a required pendant dungeon, he will definitely need to find bombos, otherwise he has no way of clearing that at all, since the fire rod is on the pedestal. And all he gets out of these 7 chests in here is a shovel. Yeah, that's a very good point. He can't go to IP without mids anyway, so unless he does remember that sick kid, he will, as I said, eventually be a little bit stuck here. Looks like he's heading over to Eastern Palace. He can definitely finish that. It's a pendant dungeon, so not a bad choice. But without those mids, he will eventually run out of options. So let's give all our energy here to Gus and try to telepathically tell him to go back to sick kid. You've already picked up 2 bottles, man. You gotta remember. If he really does think he already checked a kid, it will probably mean he'll be stuck rechecking a bunch of locations because he might have already marked it off on his tracker. At least EP will be a pretty quick finish since he's been in here earlier. Just needs to go straight to the back and up to the Armos fight. Now gets trolled a bit by the Stalfos here and misses his opportunity to kill the Igor really quickly, but still makes it through fine. Very nice. Alright, so he grabs his green pendant. That means he's got another location to check when he brings it back to Sahasrara. First of 3 pendants required for the pedestal acquired. I'm not gonna say anything here until he picks up the item. Yeah, I kinda figured it'd just be another red rupee. What else would it be with this seed? Okay, and it looks like he might be wanting to check out Swamp here without the hookshot. Yep, that's definitely the play he's making. It's, in general, not a terrible decision, I would say, but we unfortunately know better. Because that sick hit check would really open up the seed for him a lot more. Oh, and interesting, he decides to mirror back from Swamp, and then... Oh, I guess he wants to check the shovel spot here, since he just got the shovel. I'm not even gonna say anything. Alright, unfortunately, since he left his portal here... Oh, that's interesting. I thought he was gonna warp back to the Dark World, but apparently he left it in such a wonderful space that he can just walk into the entrance without actually warping anywhere. Okay, and off to Swamp we go. He can check quite a bunch of chests here, even without the hook chip, but he can unfortunately not finish it. And a Fisher Price shield as his first prize. Oh, kind of forgot the key there on their skull, no big deal. And since he hasn't gotten enough rupees this seed yet, he gets another 300. Does not flood the key, very good. That's always in the back of your head. And sometimes you just forget about it, and then you push that switch and you're like, oh crap, I forgot to grab the key. Oh, and I think I see that our good friend Android here has his stream back up. I'm not sure if it's coming through on the restream yet. Oh, looks like it is. Alright, let's see if we can figure out how far along in the seed he is. He has 2 less hearts as far as I can see. He does have the half magic. And he definitely also has the Titan's mitts, otherwise he wouldn't be able to grab Gary's chest. Looks like Android is picking up his share of the red rupees. And Gus had to nope out of Swamp. I think he checked everything he could, didn't really get anything worthwhile. He's going back to the Bombos tablet, which he's already checked as far as I know. And he realizes it, but it looks like he wants to go into Desert. Hopefully he remembers that he left the big chest in there. He might just end up going to the back of Desert since he couldn't finish it earlier because he didn't have any lift upgrades at all. From what I can tell, it seems that both our runners took quite different routes. Android has Bombos but is still on Fighter Sword. But he also doesn't have the bow. He does have Ice Rod. He's missing the flippers that Gus has. Oh, and while checking all that out, I missed if Gus remembered the big chest here. Decides to take a quick death here to the BMOs just to refill his hearts a little bit. He's not far away from the entrance he just entered, not a bad play. Okay, he didn't check the big chest, so that's gonna be another thing that might be on his mind. But we'll see, maybe he'll check it once he kills Landmo and Landmo doesn't drop an item for him. If Landmo has the second item, he doesn't have to go back to check it. Well, looks like Android does have the flippers, since he just entered Swamp Palace. And there's the Fisher Price shield for Android, putting up the same great prices that Gus just picked up. It also looks like Android either bought or found a blue potion. Yeah, as you're pointing out, he could be using Ice Rod. It does the same damage as Fire Rod, but the aiming for it is a little bit wacky. And he only gets the compass and the blue pendant, so we know there's definitely an item, whatever it may be, left in Desert Big Chest, and he's got 2 of the 3 pendants so far. What he needs now, well, not right now, but what he needs to get the last pendant is the Bumbos that Android already has. Sadly, we have no idea where he found it. Alright, so Gus is back on his way to the back entrance of Kakariko. I can only hope that he finally remembered to check the sick kid. We will see if he actually goes there. Wants to check out the library first. Sees that it's a heart, says, nope, I already got 13 of those. You can keep that on your shelf. Alright, come on, Gus. Remember the sick kid. Do it. Nope, dashes right through. Yep, he's right back in the Lost Woods on his way to the Dark World. I can only assume he might be checking out the front side of Skull Woods now. Yep, well, looks like that's exactly where he's going. Experience says Skullwoods usually holds at least one item of importance, but we will see if that's also true for this seed. Oh, well, actually, never mind me. He's definitely not going to Skullwoods. He might be checking the Bumper Cave. Now we're getting a check of the Graveyard Ledge here. Popular mirror spot. And just $5. At least it wasn't a red rupee again, right? Now he's probably gonna check King's Tomb. Can mirror right here, even though he still doesn't have his Titansmiths. Let's see, is this gonna be another red rupee? No, it's 3 bombs, equally as boring. Oh, and it looks like Android here is on his way to pick up his bow finally. Looks like he's seen that it's on Lake Hylia Island. And there we go. So he now has access to Pod and can also finish EP. The thing is, we still don't know if Android is aware that it's a required pedestal seed, so he might ignore EP because it's the red pendant. Wait, it's a green pendant? Yeah, it's a green pendant. And Gus is now making his way to Skullwoods. Well, Android got his Hobo check done, gets the love from Hobo, and now they're on equal hearts. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Gus is slowly but surely running out of options, depending on what he finds here in Skullwoods, at least the parts that he can access. He might not have much of a choice other than going back. And if he really does think that he's already checked the kit, then he might start going on a big round of rechecks to all the chests that he might have forgotten. Which could possibly cost him quite a bunch of time. Oh, it takes a nice little ride with the bumpers. So far, his dive into Skullwoods hasn't really paid off at all yet. For the hammer strats on those annoying Gibdos here. These mummies, man. And no Cane of Samaria yet, which means you're gonna have to pull that set you all the way up to the button. But at least they already got the mirror, so the way back out will be really quick. And there's a big key. Does he go back to the big chest? Yeah, looks like he's going back right away. Alright, no bomb jump from him, decides to go the old-fashioned way. Can't really blame him. I have more trouble setting up the Skullwoods big chest bomb jump than I do the Hera bomb jump, because in Hera you got a nice little square of light pixels to set it up, and here you kinda just have to eyeball it, I guess. Oh, and it's only a compass, how annoying. And he's out of there. Meanwhile, on the Android side, he's slowly but surely making his way through Pod. Shouldn't have much of an issue here. Get zapped by a jelly. I'm kind of surprised to see that Android hasn't checked Hype Cave yet, which we know only had the Master Sword, but at least it had the Master Sword. Oh yeah, Android might still be missing the Bottle Vendor Sword, you're right, he never checked it in the, before his stream went down. So if that's true, that means both of our runners forgot one thing in Kakariko Village, and depending on if they find another sword upgrade somewhere before Ganon's Tower, it might be two important things that they're missing. Looks like Gus is back up here on Death Mountain. I'm not quite sure what he hasn't checked yet. He might be doing Spike Cave, since he has a couple of hearts now and the cape. But I think Spike Cave is pretty much the only thing he hasn't checked up here yet. Obviously not counting the Dark World East side because he does not have the Titansmiths. Yeah, and Spike Cave is exactly where he's going. And just 10 arrows. Absolutely not what he was looking for. Meanwhile, Android entering his Helmasaur fight. Let's see if he is equally as untrolly as he was for Gus. He should be. As far as I know, the RNG is dependent on the seed. I'm not sure if that counts for Helmasaur too. I know it counts for Aga Blue Balls and Ganon teleports. Without the Master Sword though, he is gonna try and rely on arrows, since he can't even reach his weak spot with the short fighter sword. And since Helmasaur King starts moving pretty quickly once he loses his mask, this can be quite annoying. I don't think he should be in any danger of death here, but it might take him a while to get all the arrows where he wants them to go. Alright, Helmasaur King is down, and Gus is making his way back into Pod. I'm not quite sure why. He definitely knows he's missing something, so this might be the start of his big recheck of, hey, where did I think I already was but wasn't actually there yet? Looks into his inventory, sees he has all the dungeon items, and says, okay, this can't be it. I gotta go somewhere else. Meanwhile, we see Android stepping into Eastern, also quickly checking his dungeon items, and decides to nope out immediately. Alright, he's making his way back to Kakariko, so I'm crossing all my fingers and sending all my energy in the hopes that he will finally remember this a kid. Oh, and he does! Go, Gus! Get your Titansmiths from that little kid in the bed. There we go. Titansmiths get, he places a bomb on the pillow next to the poor sick kid. It's not his fault, man. Alright, with Titanmiths in hand, he basically has nothing to fear anymore. A lot more stuff just open up for him. Meanwhile, on Android side, I think he is not quite sure where to go either. He's we saw him save and quit the Sanctuary and then think about another save and quit but decide against it. It looks like he's making his way back up to Death Mountain. He might not have checked the tablets yet. Nope, decides against it. Gus now clearing out all the things that were previously locked to him because he was missing the Titansmiths, grabbing that frog, doing the hammer pegs. I think we saw Android do that when his stream came back, and didn't have anything too great. So he'll probably not really find what he wants here, but good to get them out of the way anyways. Yep, and the Smith's just forging a little bomb upgrade today. Nothing great. Oh, Android gets the spin speed going, but it's a little too fast for him and he accidentally enters the cave here. Not a big deal, but you lose spin speed and it's kind of annoying. Oh no, and the spin speed comes back to haunt him again. He accidentally jumps off the ledge. Gotta be really careful with that. Gus bringing back Gary's lunchbox. What did his wife pack him today? $300. She was like, no, I'm not making you any lunch. You go buy your own food. So I think at this point we can pretty much confirm that Android hasn't checked the pedestal yet because Bombo's Ice Palace is open to him. He has the mitts, he has Bombos, he has flippers, he can definitely get in there, and since we know Fire Rod is on the pedal, there's no reason for him not to. But Ice Palace is a pendant. He apparently does not know it's a pedestal seed, so he's not looking for the Fire Rod except for Turtle Rock. And he's definitely not thinking about going to Ice Palace without the Fire Rod. It looks like he's opening up the Turtle Rock portal, and it is Bombo. He's also opening up Turtle Rock while he's up here. Not a bad choice. I don't think he's gonna go in. If he does, he'll realize really quickly that he can't get anywhere. Getting a little high five here from the runners, but sadly Gus does not have the Bombos that Android already has, so he can't open Turtle Rock yet. And here we go. Is the hookshot in the one little chest that you can bonk to? Oh no, Gus accidentally picks up the skull, has to leave and come back so he can bonk off of it. And Android also having a little trouble setting up that bonk from the skull. Alright, Gus gets it. Oh no, and he slips off. And Android gets the hookshot out of the first chest in Hookshot Cave. Whoa! Immediately decides to check the rest of it, obviously. Silvers! Oh man, this Hookshot Cave is good. And 10 arrows. Nah. Alright, Gus hot on his heels. And there's the flute for Android. And again, as I said, Gus is hot on his heels here. Android decides to save and quit out immediately after grabbing the flute. Not gonna go back up there. Doesn't need anything else from Death Mountain. Wants to activate his flute as fast as he can. And we have Gus coming up on his flute here. Probably also gonna save and quit immediately after he gets those chests. Nope, decides, alright, I'm gonna go back up there. Gonna see what's happening on top of Death Mountain. Alright, and eventually decides to save and quit out. Realizes he doesn't really have anything else going on up here. Android has just activated his flute and remembered to check the bottle vendor, so he's finally picking up his Master Sword. So at this point, it's really kind of even. Android has a little leg up thanks to having bombos already, but as I said earlier, he doesn't realize yet that it's a pendant, a pedestal seed. So he will probably not be going to Ice Palace anytime soon. It looks like with their newfound hookshot, both of our runners are having the same idea. Let's head back to Swamp and get that out of the way. Oh man, the sync is real. Only a second or two between these guys. Okay, here we go. Seems like Android is forgetting for a second here that he's already been in here. Tries to grab the key again. Both our runners here, neck and neck. Apparently the big key is still at large in the back here somewhere. We'll see if any of our two runners decide to go back for that big chest after, probably not before they defeat Argus. And another heart and the big key. Oh, and it looks like, opposed to Gus, who is heading straight for the boss, Android decides, okay, I'm gonna go back and check the big chest. Sadly, he decides to take the little bugged stairs here that sometimes just send you back down for no reason, which is exactly what just happened to him. And it's just a map. Sadly, a waste of time to go back here. Master Sword Argus, not the most fun fight. Every puff takes 2 slashes. If you're pulling them from below like Gus just did, you run the risk of hurting yourself. So he needs to be a little careful here. Oh, and I just saw on Android site that the last chest before the boss had the fire shield. So they're both now equipped with a fire shield. Probably the least appreciated shield in all of ALTTP. Very underrated in my opinion. Oh man, and Gus decides to go for the hammer strats with Argus here. I personally just spin him because I'm lazy and also not as good apparently. And yet another boss that hoards 20 rupees. What is going on with all these red rupees on bosses? So that gives our friend Gus here his 4th crystal. He goes back in, checks his items, and realizes, alright, Big Chest can only be the map. Decides not to go back, very good. Let's see where he's going now. He pretty much needs to find the bombos. That's what I was talking about. Sorry, I kind of zoned out there for a second. But he pretty much needs to find that bombo so he can get into Ice Palace finally. You could also check out the Mire area now that he's got his flute and finally his Titan Smiths, which I assume is what he's gonna do after he's activating his flute here. Our second runner, Android, finishing up his Argus fight, no problem for him either. Which is also his 4th crystal, if I saw that right. Yeah, and Gus is headed straight for the Mire area, not a bad choice at all. You got the Mire shed here. Quake seems to be what you need to open Mire, which both of our runners thankfully already have. Bombs and a green ruby. Ugh. And once again, our runners are hot on each other's heels here. Just seconds apart. Gus decides, okay, I'm gonna check all the mirror spots around here first before I head into Mire. It's not a bad choice, we'll see what he gets for it. Oh, the Cane of Samaria, he accidentally leaves. Decides, no, wait, I want that, and goes right back in. So that will definitely send him off to Mire now. And on the other screen we see that Android is giving him no break at all, grabbing the Cane of Samaria just seconds after Gus did. Alright, let's Quake, guys. Let's see who can do the little Wizard room here better than the other guy. Oh, a very nice fairy drop for Gus. And a very nice fairy drop for Android, even though he is still at full, well, at almost full health now. He got hit once. Alright, both our runners making it through here, no problem. Let's see what Mire has for them. Only a chance for 2 items, but 2 items, you never know. Could be the 2 most important items you ever get. And there's the first one, the blue boomerang. Clearly the superior boomerang. Yeah, and this dude points out in chat, the only useful item they could really find in here is the sword upgrade. Meyer is probably not gonna hold too much for both of our guys. We already know that bombos can't be here, otherwise Android wouldn't have it already. And other than that, I think they're pretty similar on equipment. Oh yeah, and since they both don't have the fire rod here because it's on the pedestal as we found out earlier, you're gonna have to do the slow way here, push all the blocks out of the way, light the torches manually. And wait for yet another endless wall to slowly move backwards while your screen is shaking wildly. And there's the big key for Meyer, so they have access to the boss now. Gus is probably want to check out the big chest here just to see if the last item that he's still missing is in there. And then he's gonna make his way straight to the boss. Just a key, so Vitreous has an item for us, whatever it may be. If this seed is anything to go by, it'll probably be a red rupee, but don't call commentators curse once a red rupee drops from the sky. Alright, so we're just seeing both of our runners here making their way to the end of Misery Mire. Getting ready to face off against Vitreous. They're maybe 20 seconds apart, if even. The question really is, when will Android realize this is a pedestal seed and how much of a head start might that give Gus? So far, he hasn't gotten any kind of head start out of it yet, except for the 2 pendants that he's already got. But he is still missing that Bumbos. Oh, and Gus decides to go with the normal arrow strats. That's 3 arrows per eye. And you run out of arrows really quickly, and especially that lightning from Vitreous can snipe you so badly, even with red mail. But so far so good. 2 more eyes to go. Decides to switch over to slashing now. Yeah, looks good. Needs to watch out though. 1 or 2 more lightning hits and he's a goner. Oh, Kinghorn, you're completely right. They both found the silvers in the Hookshark Cave. Why is he not using the silvers? Why did he switch to mirror? Guess he's getting ready for finishing the boss up. Ooh, and it's a cane of brine. Looks like Android remembered that he had silver, so he's catching up on what little lead Gus had here. Now they're really only seconds apart. Grabs the crystal just as Gus finishes up his animation for grabbing the crystal. Oh, and now he remembers he has the silvers. Very good switch there, Gus. Alright, looks like Gus isn't quite sure where he wants to go from here. He knows that he needs to get the last pendant out of Ice Palace, but how do you get in there if you don't have bombos? I see that Android is back up on Death Mountain. He probably wants to check out the east side of Death Mountain in the Dark World. I assume he hasn't been there yet. Yeah, that's a very good point. Android might also be thinking about Turtle Rock, which is not that great of a decision, but for now he seems to be checking out oh no, he's already checked these caves, yeah, I forgot about that. So I suppose Android is definitely going up to Turtle Rock, which might net him something that he wants, even though the only thing he's really missing is the fire rod, and we know where that is. So, that bombos. We've had people say it might be at the Catfish. We've had people say it might be at that big chest in Desert Palace that Gus skipped twice. I think he's already been to this mirror spot here. I might be mixing it up with Android, but it wasn't anything important anyways. And Android is taking his first dip into Turtle Rock. Let's see how that turns out for him. He might be key-locked immediately here, depending on what he gets on the left side. Since without the fire rod, he can't make the little round trip on the right side to get to the two chests behind the rollers. Okay, he gets a key here, which means he can progress a little bit, at least for now. Well, looks like Gus is back to the Ice Rod Cave. I could swear he'd already checked it, but yeah, looks like he has. Just wasn't quite sure. Nope, you don't have the mushroom yet, Gus. That's not it either. Alright, and now Android is key-locked and Turtle Rock only gets a red rupee out of the chest in the Chain Chomp room, which is good for him. Diving any deeper might have misled him and wasted even more time. So, does Android think about a pedestal check now? Alright, and Android is making the play for Ice Palace here. We still... well, I think we can be pretty sure that he doesn't know it's a pedestal, but he's doing the right moves, despite not knowing it's a pedestal yet. While Gus, on the other hand here, seems to be rechecking places that he's already been to, trying to figure out what he forgot or where that one last item that he needs could be. He knows Fire Rod is on the pedestal, and Fire Rod is basically his go mode item. And he knows he needs Bombos to get into Ice Palace. We sadly don't know where Bombos was at because Android's stream was down for a little bit and he found Bombos while we weren't able to watch, so we're about as clueless as Gus is. We're thinking it could either be at Catfish or it could be in Desert Palace Big Chest because Gus decided to not check that. He has left that. He's now double checking Hera, realizes, alright, I've been in the basement, good here, that's not the place I want to check out either. Oh, and gets blocked by a squirrel. Very annoying. Alright, Catfish was apparently an arrow, so I'm thinking at this point Lumberjack is probably right and Bombos is in the big chest in Desert Palace. Which, from what it looks like right now, Gus doesn't seem to remember that he skipped that. I'm gonna assume it's just a little bit of tournament jitters and nerves. Being re-streamed, having your first tournament match and everything, it's easy to not be in your top form. I definitely don't blame him. Alright, Android is setting up for the IPVG, BJ, and he gets it. Oh no, and he gets knocked off by the fire bar, so he has to do it again. Oh man, Android is having no luck with that IPVJ. Oh, he has to watch out, he's down to 2 hearts. If he does it once more and fails... Oh, down to 1 heart. Now he definitely can't do it anymore. Oh, what a wonderful snap on that jelly, even though he meant to hit the switch. Oh no! And he gets clipped by one of those weird little hole monsters, and then the conveyor belt pushes him into the spikes, causing a painful death. Now he has to Bombos all his way through there again. Though at least he has half magic, so it's not that terrible. Meanwhile, on Gus's side over here, he doesn't know where to go. He's pretty confused about it. Decides to flute back to Kakariko, seeing if he missed anything here. Checks the race game again, just 10 arrows, that's not what you want either. Alright guys, we did it earlier with the sick kid. I think it's about time we all send our energy to Gus again and make him go back into Desert Palace and check that big chest. Android is having some trouble here with the little penguins in Ice Palace. Can be very annoying, especially... Oh man, apparently the world is ending outside here. And Gus once again back on Death Mountain. Is he gonna make the Turtle Rock play now? Apparently he thinks so. Thankfully, as we saw from Android earlier, he's not gonna get too far into it. Oh wait, he can open Turtle Rock, he doesn't have Bombos. I keep forgetting about that. And it seems like he also forgot about that. Going back into Hookshot Cave, I guess he's gonna check the floating island now, maybe. Oh, nope, he's gonna make sure that he really got all the chests in here. And you did, Gus. I'm sorry to say, you got everything in here. Yeah, decides to mirror here to see what's on the floating island instead of just blindly going there and wasting a bunch of time. I like that. No, or he just sleuths away. It's also fine. Come on, flew to 6, not to 4. And 4 it is. I hope he isn't going for that big chest in Swamp Palace, because it's only gonna be a map. He checked that earlier in his inventory and decided not to go for it because he realized it's the map. Or maybe he's doubting himself. Android, on the other hand, is making good progress through Ice Palace here. As far as I can tell, he hasn't really picked up anything too great yet. Alright, Gus, you're missing the map. Yeah, very good. Leave again. You don't want to be in Swamp at all. Checks the dam item again, thinking maybe that was something important that he didn't quite see right. No, Gus, don't do it! You were right the first 2 times you checked your inventory. Yeah, but he's just making sure that he has checked all the chests that he can check in here. It's gonna cost him quite a bit of time if he decides to check the west side too. So we have quite the interesting situation going on here. We have Gus, who doesn't remember that he skipped the big chest in Desert Palace, which we're pretty sure by now that has to have the bombos to get into Ice Palace. And we have Android making all the right moves down here, but he apparently doesn't realize yet that it's a pedestal seed going on, and that Fire Rod is on the pedestal. So he also doesn't quite know what he should be doing. As we can see from his inventory, he has everything except for the Fire Rod, so that is what he's looking for. And I wonder if it will start dawning on him once he finishes up Ice Palace and realizes, okay, Ice Palace did not have the Fire Rod that I was looking for. I don't know these 2 runners well enough to say if the chance of a double forfeit is really real, but I think there's a better chance for Android to realize that it's a pedestal seed than there is for Gus to remember that Desert Palace Big Chest is where he needs to go. Gets his 20 bucks from Stumpy, who he hasn't checked yet. Not what he was looking for. Probably happy that he finally found the one place that he hasn't checked yet, but that's not what you're looking for. Meanwhile, Android here dropping down to the cold stair fight. Gonna bombos his little ice shield off in no time. And then it's gonna be Master Sword all the way. Oh, gets out the hammer, but decides to stick with the sword for now. Gus double checking the Batman. He already checked that too. You're close to it, Gus, but you're not quite there. Android looking good so far, taking it slow and safe. Don't want to get hugged too much. And just as I say that, typical commentator's curse, he gets 2 hugs from the little cotton candies. Oh no, and he takes a death. It was looking so good. Doesn't have a fairy in any of his bottles, so he will have to make that trek through Ice Palace again, but he says, nah, whatever. I don't need a pendant. This isn't a pedestal seed. So let's see if it's starting to dawn on Android that this might be a pedestal seat. He is fluting to 3, but he's apparently not quite sure where he wants to go. Flutes away again, and flutes to 2. Okay, he wants to get some more potions. That's fine. Gus here is continuing on his rounds of rechecking every chest that he might have forgotten about. I can only hope it will take him to Desert Palace very soon. Alright, Android is back, and it's looking like he's going up to the Lost Woods. Is he gonna check the pedestal? Oh yeah, he's taking out the book. This is gonna be a pedestal check. Alright, so now Android will find out that he actually needs to go back to Ice Palace and grab that pendant in there. I'm the hot rod, I make things burn. No rage from him at all, just dashes right out there again. He probably feels behind now, considering how many items he already has, and only just now checking the pedestal at the 2-hour 5-minute mark. Immediately flutes back to the mire area to get into the back entrance of Desert Palace, or to finish up Desert Palace to get the first pendant. Should be pretty quick for him because he's pretty much checked everything else in there already, so he can go directly to the back entrance. Meanwhile, we see Gus has taken the trip to Thieves Town, double checking everything here. Not a dungeon you necessarily want to go in twice, but what you're gonna do, you're looking for that bombos. Yeah, as Sportshefe is pointing out, at this point it's pure boss rush mode for Android. He is pretty much in go mode, because he knows exactly where his last item is. He knows that all he has to do is pick up the 3 pendants, grab the fire rod, get his booty over to Skullwoods, kill Mothula, get his booty over to Turtle Rock, kill Trinex, and then go and face Aghanim 2 and Ganon. Really nothing stopping him him at all at this point. He's got silvers, he's got half magic, he's got 15 hearts, he's got red mail. The only thing he might want still is maybe a sword upgrade, but I'm just gonna assume with how much these guys have cleared from the seed that at least one sword upgrade will show up in Ganon's Tower. And he makes quick work of Lamb Molas with the silver arrows. Grabs his compass for his trouble and his first pendant. Next up, I'm gonna assume he's just gonna flute directly to 5 and run into Eastern Palace. Get rid of Armos Knights, also no problem with the silvers at all. And then he can start making his trek back into Ice Palace. Oh no, it looks like he wants to do Ice Palace first. Alright, not a bad choice. It's equally as fast. He knows he's already cleared it out fully. He knows he only has to kill the boss, grab the pendant, and should be equally as quick. Gus now deciding, okay, I've checked a lot of dungeons already, time to check the next one. He's gonna check out Pod, which is quite a big dungeon with some spread out chests here and there, so he's definitely gonna waste some time in here. Alright, Gus saw that he checked the big chest, so I'm hoping he will realize that he must have also checked the Dark Maze 2 chests, and hopefully doesn't go back in there. He's gonna go downstairs, realize that he's also checked those 2 chests down here, especially since all these rupees are gone. He'll see it very quickly. Android down there in Ice Palace making good progress, getting the Stalfos glitch here, or a little Stalfos trick where you kill 2 Stalfos with 1 bomb. Oh, and Gus needs to be careful, he's down to 2 hearts. He might have just set up a death warp, but he has the mirror, so I don't think it was intentional. Yep, and you realize, okay, I also checked everything in Pod. Mirrors back to the entrance. Is he gonna check more? Yeah, he definitely wants to make sure, so he's going back. And off he goes. He's checked everything he needed to see, realized, okay, I've opened everything in here. This can't be it either. Come on, Gus! Desert Palace, Desert Palace! Oh no. He's gonna start his recheck right here. Can't really blame him. Mirroring from Pod to EP is really quick and you're right there. If you have, or if you're gonna recheck everything that you think you've already checked, might as well try to get everything in as much as you can. He sees that he's opened the big chest here. And Android made it down to Cold Stare almost immediately, got the bomb jump, pushed the block down. No big deal at all. Well, let's hope he doesn't take another death down here. Alright, off you go to the second round with Cold Stare. Time for revenge here for Android. Gets 2 hugs, needs to be careful. Even with red mail, these guys do quite a bit of damage. And Gus is sadly still completely lost. He's looking at his map, not quite finding out where he needs to go. Alright Gus, come on. Flute to 6, do it. Nope, he's fluting to 8. Is he going into Ice Palace without bombos? Yeah, looks like he's gonna try entering Ice Palace without bombos. He'll very quickly find out that he can't do anything in here, even in the first room. Oh, he's gonna try to quake the little guy here. Sadly, it's not gonna work. Nope, gonna try everything he can. Nothing's gonna hurt these guys. Meanwhile, Android has picked up his second pendant and finished the cold stare fight. The lamp. I wish that worked. I really do wish that worked. Not even the mighty silver arrows can hurt this guy. You're gonna have to find that bombos. And Android is fluting to 5, off to pick up his last pendant. Oh man, poor Gus. I really feel for him at this point. It's already bad enough having to recheck everything. Now he's just trying everything in his arsenal to hurt this guy, and nothing is working. Alright Gus, I believe in you. You can do it. Doing a quick double check of the Lake Hylia Island. Yeah, you got the bow from that. You're remembering that correctly. And he is back to 8. I guess he's gonna double check Mini Moldon Cave now. Yeah, thinks he might have forgotten about the NPC in there while getting all the chests. Has to be careful though, he's down to half a heart, so one little tap from these mini Moldorms could do it, but he get through just fine. Sees that he checked everything, sees that the NPC has nothing to say to him. And flutes away. Come on Gus, remember desert, do it! Yeah, there we go, that's number 6. Please don't go into mire. Oh no. You're really close, Gus. Go into that dungeon. Yeah, okay. Gus finally checks the right dungeon. Please go straight to the big chest and please pull that bombos out of there. Oh, he's going straight there. Oh man, Gus, I can't even tell you how happy I am right now. Oh, there he goes. He realizes it as soon as he steps in. And there it is. Bombos and DP big chest. He is gonna kick himself for that big time. Flutes away immediately, knows, alright, I gotta get through Ice Palace real quick here. Meanwhile, we see Android is making his way up to the pedestal. Gonna grab his fire rod. Or he might have done it already? I'm a little bit confused. Oh, okay, he's going through the Dark World, probably. Getting ready to get to the back entrance of Skull Woods, place your portal there, grab the fire rod, go right back in, and finish up Mothula. Very good routing choice. And boom, Gus makes his way into Ice Palace, finally gets his revenge on the Freezor in here, bombing the heck out of him. Alright guys, get ready to be hype. The pedestal pull is incoming. And he pulls on the big sword handle. And boom, the sword turns into a fire rod. Pedestal get. Yeah, this is definitely not over for Gus yet. He sadly did waste a lot of time double-checking a lot of stuff he didn't need to double-check, but they're still relatively close. Android definitely has a lead now that he's got his pedestal all out of the way. But it's not a lead that Gus can't overcome if he doesn't set his mind to it, so I'm feeling pretty good about this. Alright. Android has finished up his Mothula fight, having no problems here. Grabs his second to last crystal, and is gonna mirror and flute immediately to 1 and make his way up to Turtle Rock. Gus grabbing a safety fairy here, can't really blame him, especially with that upcoming fight. I'm not quite sure if he has any potions left, but he shouldn't be too worried about magic since he only needs to use bombos once. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that at least Tempered Sword will show up at some point. I'm considering how much of the overworld and everything they've checked. I think there's a good chance that at least one sword upgrade will be somewhere on their way through Ganon's tower and up to Ganon. Oh, Gus getting a nice triplet in here with this spin. Gets one of the power puffs down. And the second one goes down too. And there's the third one. So now Gus is also ready to pull his pedestal. So at this point, Android is only ahead a bit of walking and a Mafia fight, really. It might seem like quite the gap, but we all know Ganon and the Gauntlet and Ganon's Tower, things like that can easily mess you up and cost you a minute or two, and boom, before you know it, Gus caught up. But we'll see. Android also has a little bit of a lead in here since he's done a bunch of Turtle Rock already. He got keylocked pretty early on, which was good for him, because at least that didn't waste him a bunch of time before he checked the pedestal. But that means he won't have to check as much as Gus will have to check once he gets in here. Bomb upgrade and a key. He really only wanted the key and probably would have been pretty happy if one of those was a sword, but there's still a bunch left to check. Alright, Android makes it through the change room where he was keylocked before, while we get a little bit of a pedestal pull here from Gus. Let's watch another sword turn into a fire rod. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Now Gus is also officially in go mode. Gonna fire off the weird skeleton thing here and go right in. Dash right through here, open the door, light a couple torches, and get it over with. Gus having no patience for all those Gibdos. Everyone gets a little bit of flame to the face. And here we go. Let's see how Gus's Mafia fight works out. Alright, gets him down, gets a couple hits, but nothing too big. Picks up his burrito and grabs his next crystal, so now it's off to Turtle Rock for him too. I'd say at this point, Android is probably about half to 3/4 of the dungeon in front of him. But as I said earlier, we probably won't know until GT if anything's gonna change or not. Android grabs her green goo, not too bad. And realizes, okay, I can't get through here, I'm missing a key. That'll cost him some time, so maybe if Gus decides not to do that key gamble, he already has like, I don't know, 10-20 seconds to catch up on him here. Oh, and Android misses his bomb. All these little things that can add up really quickly, especially if both our runners are so close together. Alright, and there he goes, gets the key that he wants. Just has to make his way back to where he was before. Meanwhile, Gus is getting ready to open up Turtle Rock here. Firing up his bombos. Getting rid of that weird turtle head. Chugga, chugga, chugga. This is the third time we've been waiting for something to move or disappear. Android is coming up on laser bridge and a potential laser skip here. He'll definitely need to dip in because he's missing a key to go any further. Let's see what he does. Since he's down to 3 hearts, he decides, okay, I'm going to take the safety exit here. If I do die, I'll just respawn right here. No big deal, not a big time loss. Pokes that annoying beetle off the bridge and fires up his cane of Burna and checks all the chests. Blue rupee. Single arrow. Compass. And gets knocked off. Oh man, down to 1 heart and the last chest must have the key. Oh no, he gets sniped by the laser, but he thankfully took that little safety exit down there, so he'll be right back where he was. Sadly, still without magic, but he'll have a couple more hearts now to survive that damn laser. Oh no, and he falls. Oh, and he falls again. This is all time the Gus can make up, maybe, depending on how his laser bridge goes. He makes short work of the chain chomp room. Only gets nabbed once. While Android is down to a single heart here. He has 2 blue potions, is pondering using one of them, and he does. So that should make it pretty safe to get the key finally. There we go. Grabs the key, gets out without any damage. Time to head to Trinex. Oh no! A mini Helmasaur knocks him off again for good measure, just to troll him some more. While Gus is bathing in fairies up there. Oh, that's an interesting way to go through that little switch block maze. I've never seen that before. Alright, so it's gonna be a Master Sword or probably a Hammer Trinex. Let's see how these guys do. At least they have half magic, so that will help them quite a bunch. Hammer it is for Android. Interesting choice to start with Ice Head and wait out a little bit the beginning of the fight. I'm not sure I agree with that, but whatever he feels more comfortable with is the right way to go. These heads, man, they're master dodgers. I've always had trouble hitting them once they start moving like crazy. Alright, that's 1 head down. Now over to the fire head. Alright, and it looks like Gus didn't gamble on the big chest and gets his key right away, so he's definitely making good time here. If his laser bridge goes well, he might be pretty close to where Android ends up once he finishes his fight here. Android decides to down his second blue potion. Good choice, don't want to die here when you already got 1 Trinex head down. Decides to go for the Master Sword now instead of the hammer, just to finish off that fire head, and we're down to the snake phase of the Trinex fight. Oh, he misses the first hit, and switches back to hammer. This is not a face that I want to hammer, but sure. Gets one hit in. Gets another hit in. And third. And fourth. Should be done very soon here. Meanwhile, Gus just checks the first chest, grabs the small key, no big deal, powders a fairy. He's almost caught up at this point. Just as Android finishes his Trinex fight, Gus is about to enter his. Let's see how he decides to approach this fight. And ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we have one of our runners going to GT right now. And it's an age-old tradition to start guessing which number will be the big key today. You have a choice between 1 and 22, I believe. Start making your guesses, ladies and gentlemen. For me, it's, as always, gonna be number 8. This time I'll make sure to actually count them and not just ask for numbers and then never count the chests and be super confused what we ended up with. And Gus is making really good time on his Trinex fight. I think he's caught up quite a bit. Gets 2 hits in on his first spin and decides not to go with the hammer but with the slashes. I like this. Boom, Trinex down. Alright, chest number 2 it is apparently. And that is the friendliest Ganon's Tower you can imagine. The only problem with this is... Oh no, he doesn't have a small key. What are you doing? Please grab a small key. Well, he will realize soon enough, I'm assuming. The thing was with an early big key like this is, even if there are a bunch of sword upgrades in Ganon's Tower, they might never see it, depending on how far they can get. Alright, so Gus entering his Ganon's Tower at 2 hours, 34 minutes and 10 seconds, opening it up at least. While Android is making his way through the first Mimic Room, having no issues here, very good. Oh, got trolled a little bit by the B-mouse here, that always moves you in a weird way when you're trying to line up those arrows. There we go, first Mimic down. And second Mimic down. Gus also grabbing his big key. But he knows, alright, I do need a small key still, so he checks more. Finds one on Bob's torch, rip Bob. But that also means he is not gonna check the rest of GT for sword upgrades. He might still run across one. But as it's looking now, we might end up with a Master Sword Ganon. Oh, and Android takes a fall here at the end of the bridge, probably wanting to bump over for the fairies. Nope. Just skips them, says, I don't need any safeties. Oh, and Gus gets trolled by the spike, intercepting his arrow. But again, catches up a little bit by making his second Mimic Room a lot faster than Android had. This is gonna end up being a close race, guys, I'm telling ya. Oh no, he gets bullied by the spikes that he can't see. Please be careful, Gus. Oh, and there's a red Igor too, jeez. Android is getting bullied a little bit down here with the ice floor. Decides to powder the anti-fairy, which means all 3 land molars too will pop out at the same time. That's something I just learned today. If you grab that anti-fairy before the land molars too, they will all pop at the same time. If you skip the anti-fairy, they will all pop at different times. Oh, and Android's run out of arrows. Not too much of a deal here, but it's gonna make the fight a little slower and also put him in a weird spot for when he's gonna fight Ganon. Gus meanwhile says, I don't give a crap about magic, I'll just fire out everything in my way. Personally, I'd like to see him use his bombos to save on magic a little bit and maybe make it a little bit quicker, but he's probably just thinking about going fast at this point. Oh, barely misses that. Whatever that guy's called. Okay, Gus also decides to grab the anti-fairy. Again, meaning all his land molars will pop at the same time. He only hits 14 arrows as well, so he needs to be careful. Oh, and there we see the little graphical glitch. If you charge your sword and hold it out and fire a silver arrow in this fight, the land molar's body will go all over the place. Oh no, Gus is down to 6 arrows. He needs to make these count. Okay, gets a second one in, and a nice finish to that landmole fight. I feel like he's catching up more and more. It's only by seconds, but he's getting closer and closer, slowly inching his way to where Android is. Oh no, and he falls. Alright, let's hope neither of our runners get a GT despawn here. Probably the worst thing that can happen. Alright, it's looking good. And here we go. If he doesn't find the key in one of these chests, he is gonna be a sad man. And he lucks out. Gets a key from the chest, gets the second key from the Helmosaur. Woo! Good on you, Android. That could have gone wrong. Drops a bomb on accident because he wanted to powder the bunny beam and the anti-fairy, but no big deal. Is he gonna check that last chest? He's probably still looking for a sword upgrade. Nobody wants to do Master Sword Ganon. And it's yet another red rupee. And look at that, we're almost synced up at this point, but sadly, Gus forgot a key somewhere. Oh no! Gus, we were so close! Oh, but Android gets knocked off from Trolldorn 2. Giving Gus another chance to catch up. He grabs another key for safety and checks the other side too, just to see if he can maybe snag a sword upgrade somewhere. This is gonna be crazy. We're down to Android on his second try for Landmo 2, while Gus is entering his first try on Moldorn 2 from the other side. Android takes another fall. This is giving Gus a huge chance to pass him by. 2 hammer hits in already. And boom! That's it! Gus has officially taken the lead here. Checks the validation chest, gets a validation burrito. Enjoy, my friend. No, don't get trolled here in this last room and you're good to go. Android having trouble here with this Trolldome. He's put him in the speed phase. Gotta go fast. Trolldome thinks he's Sonic. And gets him down too. Now let's see how these Aga 2 fights are. Ooh man, he gets a triple even though one of those might not have counted. Android also checking the validation chat. And another hit on Aga 2 for Gus here. Oh, this is a very nice lineup, and he gets him down, killing Aghanim at 241.56. Meanwhile, Android makes it through the last room here, dashing over to Aghanim's door. These guys are so neck and neck. Everything can happen with a Master Sword Ganon. You could start spinning him, and you could get knocked off, lose a ton of time. We also know that Android grabbed the safety fairy with this bugnet earlier, which I don't think Gus has. And we're off to Ganon. I'm just waiting for my restream here to come back, hopefully. There we go. Alright, Gus is getting his spins in. He's now employing his cake. He's down to 2 hearts. He really needs to be careful here because once he runs out of magic, I don't think he has anything left in his bottles. Oh, he does have a green goo. Oh no! And he takes a death anyways. Oh, Gus, is that your lead? Alright, Gus now on his second try with considerably less magic decides to not even pick up the fairy that's down in the bonk tree that he could get. And Android is also down to half a heart. He needs to be super careful. Gets out his cape too. Definitely not a bad choice. These guys are neck and neck here. Oh no, and Android also takes a death. This is crazy! Gus now in phase 2, but already down to 2 hearts of one of those. Oh no, he accidentally runs into the ring of fire, takes another death. Oh boy. Oh yeah, and Android had a fairy that he picked up earlier with the bugnet. Very good choice, but he's already down to 5 hearts again and has to watch out for those fire bats. Oh no, down to 3 hearts, 2 more hits and it'll do it. Gus meanwhile deciding to grab the fairy from the bonk tree. I'm very much behind that. Oh, and he gets trolled by the tentacle hentai monster. Ugh, losing a heart on his way up to Ganon. That's always so annoying. And I think Android should be done with the second phase relatively soonish. While Gus starts his fight again, gets a good setup for his first double hit with the spins on the Master Sword. Oh no, gets clipped by the trident and knocks him out of his sword charge. Well, Android is down to 1 heart. I don't think he has another fairy in a bottle, but I might be wrong. He's also out of magic, so I hope he remembers that he has green goo, otherwise he'll never be able to light those torches. Alright, that's a wonderful spot where Ganon teleported for Gus. Oh, and Android takes another death. Does he have a fairy? Yes, he has another fairy. Very good. Alright, phase 2 continues for Android here, but he already gets clipped by another fire bat. Down to 5 hearts. Down to 3 hearts. 2 more hits here. Man, take your green goo, employ your cape, I don't know, do something, but don't die again. I really do wonder where all the sword upgrades were. I'm assuming they had to be in Ganon's tower, and they just didn't check them because they found the big key so early. Oh, and, oh no, Android made it to the next phase, but he gets sniped by another fire bat. Meanwhile, Gus is down to 1 heart, barely makes it past that fire bat with the hook shot, and he is in the 3rd phase. Oh my god, watch out, Gus! He has no chance to get close to Ganon before he spits his fire bats. He's really trying to stay alive as much as he can. Decides to down his green potion, gonna get out the cape and say, alright, screw you, man. I'm just gonna walk through all your fire and slash you in the face. Meanwhile, with Android, we see he doesn't want to continue this without the backup of some potions. I don't blame him at all. I would have definitely gone much earlier and bought a lot of potions with all the money that they have. It's looking pretty good for Gus, but he needs to be careful. 1 more hit from anything and he'll be a goner. Oh no, a little bit too far up. Oh man, how do you guys make this so clenchy? Alright, gets the 3rd hit in, 1 more and he'll be in the last phase. Oh no, it just spins a little too soon. There we go. Oh boy! Almost runs into the fire bat. Jesus Christ. Alright, time for a torch glitch. And he gets it, no problem. Okay, my man. 4 silver arrows, that's all you need. There we go, that's the first one. Oh no! Oh, that's gotta sting. And Gus has to restart the fight completely. He's gotta be so crazy nervous. Seeing that your opponent hasn't done yet, even though he rechecked everything so much. Having to restart this Ganon fight a couple times. I'm surprised he hasn't decided to go and buy some potions. Alright, it looks like Android is farming up some rupees to buy more potions, if I'm seeing this correctly. It's not a bad choice, but it's gonna cost him some time, depending on how successful Gus is with this Ganon fight this time. He's already down to 4 hearts, only at half magic. So I can't really rely on cape strats much anymore. Just take it slow. Get 1 spin in, and then get another spin in, and then he retracts his bats, and then just dodge as well as you can. Oh, very nice! Woo, man! Alright, gets another spin in. Okay, we're getting there, Gus. Oh no! On to 2 hearts now. Has to be really careful. Oh boy! Whew. Gus, what are you doing to my heart, man? Jesus. Oh, look at that, and Android is grabbing the big bomb from the bomb shop. He's not comfortable doing Master Sword Ganon. He wants a sword upgrade. Oh, this could be dangerous for Gus. Nope, another clutch hookshot dodge. Oh man, okay, Gus made it into phase 3 again, come on. Oh no, misses that spin. Oh no, and takes another death. Let's see what the double-chested fairy has for us today. Is it a sword upgrade? Nope, it's a blue rupee and tempered sword. Alright, Android is set to go. He's probably gonna walk up that pyramid right away and start his Ganon fight again, and he might make a little bit of better fight out of this than Gus did. Don't stand so close to me. Alright, just having to slash Ganon instead of having to spin him all the time. A lot easier, a lot more comfortable. He's also got the cape going, so no big deal at all. Alright, Android's already in phase 2. He's already gotten a couple of hits in. He's getting clipped by those fire bats, but so far he's still looking good, especially since he's stocked up on potions. Doesn't care about anything at this point, just wants to get this fight over with and get this seed over with and hopefully grab a win. Well, Gus up there is making good progress. Still in phase 2, but getting his spins in. Oh no, gets clipped by another fire ring. Yeah, and Gus just decides to stay away. Probably a good decision to play it a little bit. Okay, meanwhile we see phase 3 just starting for Android. Just a simple slash whenever Ganon stops teleporting. Shouldn't be a big deal at all. And Ganon giving all the troll teleports, but there's the last hit. Alright, so the last phase has started for Android. Unless he gets knocked off here somehow, he will probably take this game, I'd say. Alright, first silver arrow. Second silver arrow. Gets the torch with the fire rod. Third silver arrow, and the fourth gets a nice double here, and finally she finishes up this grueling seed. Alright, he's gonna walk through the door here any second now. Alright, and he's done. GG to Android. That was a crazy close race. He finishes with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 45 minutes, and 36 seconds. Gus taking a death here to say GG on IRC to his opponent. I'm not sure if he is willing to continue with this or not. He's so far in, he might as well. But I can understand if he feels too exhausted. But nope, Gus is a trooper. He dives right back into the Ganon fight. No fairies, no potions, no magic refills. Let's see if we can grab Android for a post-game interview here and see what he has to say about all this. Oh, and Gus taking another death. That is painful. I have to be honest, I would be pretty tilted at this point, but Gus probably saying, nope, I'm gonna trooper through this, and it looks like he's finally decided, alright, I've had enough of this stuff. Time to go and buy some potions with the 1210 rupees that I have. Alright, so Android just told me he sadly doesn't have a microphone, so we're not gonna get a post-game interview from him, but he is in the chat, as you guys have seen. GG from me here. This, Android, I can only say this has been one of the craziest races I've seen. Alright, now Gus with a full row of hearts. A full row and 5 extra hearts, I guess, or 4. Diving right back in here. Didn't refill his magic, but bought a bunch of potions. Shouldn't be much of a problem. Let's see how his revenge fight goes. Getting some good spins in here. Still pretty much at full health. Everything's going well. Gets clipped by the trident. 2 hearts lost. Not too big of a deal yet. Alright. And it looks like we're closing in on phase 2 here. There he goes, spinning his big fork, making some fire. Oh, barely misses that spin. Alright, and gets another couple hits in. This is looking good so far. Oh boy, the frustration hook shots are starting. Oh, very nice move there. Still gets clipped on the way out, but with the potions in store, no big deal. As long as he remembers to use them in time. Alright, Gus makes it a Fate 3. Let's see how much Fire Bats will troll him this time. Alright, gets a hit in. That's number 1. That's the second hit in. 2 more to go in this phase. Oh, what a troll with all these teleports, but he finally gets him down. Yes, we did find the silver arrow, so here goes the last phase. Gus going for the torch glitch again, gets it no problem. Alright, and Gus gets him. Finally getting Ganon down. What a trooper for sticking this out. Great race by these two. And he walks through the door, finishing with an official SRL time of 3 hours, 1 minute, and 9 seconds.